I got to play Doom The Dark Ages early on the PS5 Pro for review, and after clocking 20 hours in the game, I'll be giving my impressions in this video. Before we begin, I wanted to thank Bethesda for providing me a free copy for review purposes. So as usual, let's start with the story. This game is a prequel to Doom 2016 and follows the Slayer's heroics against the forces of Hell while fighting alongside the Sentinels and protecting humanity. I don't want to give too much of the story, even if it is a prequel, but as the Slayer, you'll be going around different levels, slaughtering all types of demons, saving the lives of Sentinels and humans, while getting to use epic weapons and also pilot a giant mech called the Atlan. If you played the other two Doom games, you can pretty much expect a similar story with some twists and turns. The Slayer doesn't even say much, being a silent, angry, and violent protagonist. In fact, he has one line in the game, one word, and it was completely unexpected. The game doesn't feature too many cutscenes, usually one to start a level, one in the middle if something big happens, and one to end it. Even still, cutscenes are relatively short and just features the Slayer entering an area in an epic fashion, some demon killing, dialogues between the villains and sentinels, etc. I didn't mind the cutscenes being short as it got me back to the gameplay, which is where the game really does shine. So let's get to the gameplay. Now, any gamer will tell you what Doom gameplay is like, and this game is no different. A bloody and violent first-person shooter with over-the-top gory kills, some light platforming sections, some puzzles to progress through each level, and epic boss fights with a variety of demons and monsters. I'm not going to talk too in depth of the core gameplay as it's very similar to Doom Eternal, but I will point out the major new additions and differences from prior games in the series. The first new addition to the series is the shield saw. Yep, the Slayer has a shield now and it has a rotating saw blade attached to it. While in combat, you can hold L2 on the PS5 controller to block attacks. You can't endlessly block attacks and your shield stance will get broken. It takes some time to regenerate the ability to block again, so it's pretty balanced in that sense. You can use the shield offensively by using the shield bash attack, which launches the Slayer ridiculously far at enemies. You just hold block, aim at a target, and press the shoot button to bash against the target. This is an incredible new attack as it gives the Slayer a lot of maneuverability. You can also throw the shield and it will slice the smaller enemies to death and get stuck on larger ones, stunning them. Again, very useful to stun dangerous enemies while you take care of the smaller ones, but most of the time I just use the shield to stun most problematic enemies on the field and pelt them with my strongest guns to kill them quickly. It's a pretty viable strategy most of the time in the game. The shield is also the main function for puzzles. Your shield throw and shield bash will be used to break metal plates, move objects, etc. Lastly, the most important aspect of the shield is the ability to parry. By pressing block right before the enemy attacks, you can parry their melee attacks, stunning them for a brief second, and also repel projectiles back at enemies. Now, the biggest difference with the parry in this game compared to most games is that only certain attacks can be parried. Attacks that can be parried are colored green. Other types of attacks will mostly be blocked, or if you try and parry an unblockable attack, you'll just take massive damage. Since only green colored projectiles can be parried as well, this leads to many fights in the game where you'll feel like you're in a bullet hell game. Tons of projectiles to block or dodge away from, but then parry the green colored ones. If you played Returnal, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. But yeah, that's the shield. Honestly, out of all the weapons in the game that I got to use, the shield saw is the most useful and for me the most memorable as I pretty much needed it in every fight. It's also very broken and overpowered. You can tear through a majority of the fights by just parrying and counterattacking. It's just too good and feels so satisfying. The parry window is also a bit different to other games. You gotta get the shield up when the enemy glows green as this signifies the attack launching. Too early you just block it and too late you get clipped. But the game does a great job of giving audio and visual cues to anticipate the parry timing. The devs have done a great job incorporating the shield into the Slayer's arsenal, and now I can't really think of playing a Doom game without it. I do have to say, the shield does make the game feel kinda easy, as I only died once in the entire campaign playing on normal. Even trying higher difficulties, it felt like I was doing fine even with the parry timings being stricter. In retrospect, in Doom Eternal, I died a ton of times on normal. But I'm sure people craving harder challenges can tune their difficulty modifiers in the game, so no real issues there. A major change I noticed in this game is that there is no double jump, unlike in Doom Eternal. This did take a bit of time for me to get used to, as I use double jump a lot to get away from enemies and help me stay mobile while in combat in the other game. In this game, I did feel like I was missing it, even with the shield bash ability. While the shield bash is a great way to jump from one enemy to another, it also has a cooldown, whereas double jump doesn't. Now, this is something the devs address by mentioning that you're supposed to feel like a tank in this game with the shield and all. Which, to be fair, you do feel like a total tank. You can withstand pretty much anything. But I just recently played Doom Eternal to get ready for this game, and it felt off in the first few hours. I'd highly suggest people not playing the previous games in the series to have an easier time transitioning into this game. The shield can also have 4 different runes attached to it, changing what effect the parry does. For example, one rune produces lightning on random enemies while parrying a projectile, whereas another one can summon an auto turret for a few seconds that can shoot at random enemies as well. Each rune can be upgraded multiple times to make its effects stronger as well. Now, what's a Doom game without guns? And the game has tons of it. The Slayer has access to 11 main guns divided into 6 ammo categories. You find these weapons naturally as you progress the main story and can be swapped via the weapon wheel. Each one feels unique and packs a punch. Of course, you got your shotguns, plasma guns, rocket launcher, etc., like the previous Doom games, but this one has some unique ones like the chain shot that launches a metal orb linked to a spiked chain. The longer you charge it, the stronger it is. Helps with breaking armor and shields. One of my new favorites is called the Pulverizer, which is a gun with a skull on it and uses bones as ammo. It basically shoots out crunched bones in a spread and is very useful against crowds. Each weapon can also be upgraded with different secondary abilities. For example, the basic shotgun can either burn enemies or shoot 3 shots each time. Players will find plenty of ways to destroy the forces of hell with the Slayer's new arsenal. You can also change the weapon skins and the Slayer skins by unlocking them in-game to add a bit of customization to your guns and, how your character looks in cutscenes. Mastery gun challenges award the gold skins for guns, which are really nice. As with all Doom games, you expect the game to feature a gun so powerful it just clears the screen of enemies. Usually that gun is called a BFG in other Doom games, and in this one we get a BFC, the Ballistic Force Crossbow. It's a single shot weapon and has a max ammo of 3, can be switched into any time after finding it late game, but each shot does insane damage and can easily clear any fight. You can't use the shield while using this gun as it requires the use of both hands. I'm always glad to see these big guns in the game, and it fulfills the power fantasy for many people, including me. Something new this time is the Slayer has access to multiple melee weapons, 3 to be exact. He starts with the Power Glove, which has the most uses and regenerates really quickly, punches enemy in a combo and can pulverize them. As you progress the game, you get access to a flail, which was seen in the trailers, and even a giant mace. The flail breaks armor more easily and can burn enemies, whereas the mace you only get one swing before recharging but packs a huge wallop. It's really devastating and can clear the screen if used right. Another new major addition is flying on a dragon. The dragon is called Sarat, and it is the Slayer's mode of transportation in the air, but it also affects some of the gameplay. In levels with flying involved, you can fly the dragon about and use the turn on its back to shoot down other ships and enemies. Once you destroy these airborne threats, you can land in different areas on the giant maps to explore for loot and collectibles. So some of these sections, or many of these levels, will feature the flying sections. You gotta clear out enemies and where they're standing, and then you can land and loot. So the loot and collectibles include gold, rubies, raid stones, toys, codex, weapon skins, etc., etc. Similar to the dragon, the last major addition is the Titan combat. Yes, the Slayer can pilot his own Titan called the Atlan and can brawl with these giant monstrosities. You can combo them with punches and dodge at the right time to build up meter for finishing moves as well. There are sections where you will be using the Atlan to run around giant areas destroying demon titans. Sometimes large guns can be used against them as well. Now, the game features 22 levels. Some levels are way shorter than the others, but most of them are around 35 minutes to an hour, depending on how much you want to explore. I clocked in 20 hours. I had to go back to a couple levels to grab missed collectibles, which I have to mention, the map is so good. It shows every collectible on it, and you don't really need a guide for its location. But, well, maybe if it is a puzzle to get it, you might need a collectible guide. But kudos to the devs on the map. It's quite detailed and super useful. But yeah, the gameplay is great. I loved it. I really enjoyed my entire time playing the game. I played in 2 bursts and pretty much couldn't stop playing, and only took a break to eat food. Fans of the series will not be disappointed. In terms of performance, I played on the PS5 Pro fully and tested a bit on the PS5. Both systems ran the game very nicely when the consoles were set to 4K, buttery smooth 60 FPS. I didn't really notice any slowdowns even during heavy combat moments. Overall, I was very pleased with the performance. I did, however, run into several bugs like the Slayer getting stuck in the environment or enemies not spawning properly. These are minor issues, happen very rarely, which can be fixed with restarting a checkpoint, but during the heat of the moment, it can be somewhat frustrating. I also had an issue where after completing a level, when I clicked to continue to the next level, the game would randomly kick me back to the main menu. I don't really know what this is about. This happened to me 4 to 5 times, so it was really jarring, and I hope the devs fix this. The visuals in the game are nice looking on the PS5 Pro, and definitely a step up from Doom Eternal, with all the details in the character models, enemy models, environments, and the weapons as well. The audio design is something that needs special mention. It's simply sublime. The crunch during melee hits, the sounds of the guns unloading into the enemies, and even when the Slayer lands on the ground from a high fall, it's just great design. Every time you jump and fall into the ground, it sounds like a shockwave, like the sound of thunder just being like sent out forward. It just adds to the ferocity of the Slayer and his character. The way he punches, the way he uses his weapons, it's just so visceral. That's what it feels like when you're playing it, and that's what it sounds like. Now, the music this time isn't done by Mick Gordon like the other two in the series. His music is missed here, but that doesn't mean the music is in any way bad or lesser. It's actually really solid and fitting to the series. Finishing Move delivered on the music in their own way. And I actually really enjoyed the music as it went with the combat and went with the game as you're going through it. The voice acting is pretty good, with all the supporting cast delivering on their own performances. As mentioned before, the Slayer has one word in the game, so I can't really judge his voice acting based on that. Lastly, in terms of replayability, if you gun the main story, as I mentioned before, you can finish it in about 10 hours, whereas exploring is half the fun, as many bosses and enemies, unique enemies, are found by searching the entire map on each level. Like if you want your health upgrades, your armor upgrades, your ammo upgrades, gun upgrades, you're gonna want to explore. That can easily take people 16 to 20 hours on normal, depending on player skill and speed. The game doesn't feature any multiplayer like Doom Eternal, which can seem like the price of $90 before tax in Canada. It's actually a lot. Hardcore players can play the game again in harder modes, but most normal gamers will play it once and be done with it, one and done. And for $90, it's a lot to ask for. If you're a huge fan of the series, you probably already pre-ordered it and waiting to play it. If not, I'd suggest you can wait for a sale, because once you're done with the game, I don't know what you're going to be doing with it. Maybe wait for DLC. Maybe they will have DLC. Who knows? Overall, Doom: The Dark Ages is an excellent follow-up to Doom Eternal, even though it's a prequel now. With some new additions to the core gameplay, I'd say this is a solid entry in the Doom franchise. It's one of the better Doom gameplay experiences to date. I still wish we had the double jump though, because I do feel like some of the verticality is missing and some of the freeform movement is missing in the game. That really does hurt it a little bit. With taking everything into consideration, the gameplay, the pricing, the length, and all, just being single player, I give this it's like in between an 8 to a 9. I can't give it a 9 because Doom Eternal exists and it's such a better game. I feel like Doom Eternal is the pinnacle of that Doom franchise. It's amazing, and this is below it. This is better than the 2019 Doom or 2016 Doom, but like below Doom Eternal. So it's between 8 to 9. I would say 8.5 out of 10. For me, the gameplay loop was enjoyable, and it pushes it up there to an 8.5. Fans of the series aren't going to be disappointed with the gameplay. They might definitely miss the double jumping and like the freedom with the movement. But the shield, it's a really solid entry to the series. Is amazing. It's here to stay and needs to be part of the Slayer's arsenal moving forward. So please, Bethesda, keep that shield moving forward into the next Doom, but also give him more movement. That's what we need. Double jump definitely needed, because I did feel like we were missing the double jump a bit in this game. I wouldn't say a bit, a lot. If you play Doom Eternal right before playing this, you're gonna feel it. And so yeah, maybe that was a mistake of me playing it, but it is what it is. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed it. That's it for this video. If you guys have any questions, leave it in the comments and I'll try to reply quickly. Thanks for watching and see you guys next time. Take care.